So 15 years ago, this was the first very expensive painting that I had purchased. And this is one of the only paintings I have out of 250 pieces that's actually a replica, not the original. Because the original of this is in a museum that you just can't buy it. Now, the interesting part about this painting is I discovered this painting watching one of my favorite movies called The Thomas Crown Affair. In the movie, played by Pierce Brosnan, and it's an art-related movie. If you've never seen it, then you don't understand what you're doing in this world. And in this movie, this painting is hanging over the main character's bed in his bedroom. And that was the first time I ever saw this painting, and it completely wrecked my little brain from a square to a triangle and imploded my head as I discovered tumbleweeds for the first time in my life. Now, the name of this painting is The Mirror of Venus. Venus is the goddess. There's not a lot of details and historical information, so it's one of those paintings that everybody interprets with their own emotions and feels. So on many days when I don't ship your orders and you're wondering what Rudy's doing with his life, I'm standing here, balls out, no clothes on below the camera, and I'm staring at paintings. And it's said that essentially the beautiful lady there in blue is the goddess Venus. And all these beautiful maidens around her, which ironically are equally, if not some are more beautiful than Venus, are all equally beautiful. And the funny part about this painting is that all the women looking in the reflection feel inferior, they feel ugly, they feel sad, they feel like they're just not good enough, they feel like, well, they're not worthy in this world, and they feel like that their future is no good, and they feel everything's wrong, they're negative, and they live a life of always feeling ugly, sad, and never good enough, because that is pretty much what feeds between them in conversations. You'll even notice in the background of the painting that the barren landscape, it's like post-nuclear war, in the background of the painting, there is no beauty. It's like everything's destroyed and gone. There's no beautiful trees. There's no beautiful flowers. There's no beautiful sun. You know why? Because everyone's negative. The women think they're ugly. The goddess is just kind of grinning and sad to watch all these other beautiful maidens look at their own reflection in mirror. And why? Because their brain focuses on the negativity and the negative side of life. And it causes them to not realize how beautiful, how amazing, how sexy, and how gorgeous not only the beautiful maidens are, but the world around them could be. And the funny part about this whole thing is this painting, the original, was painted hundreds of years ago. And here we are in 2025, and guess what? There is no real difference. There is no real difference to hundreds of years ago from these Italian Renaissance artists and eras from hundreds of years ago at a different time when the life expectancy was, 30? 25, 30, 35 years old, and then pretty much you're dead. And yet, even with very short lives, even gorgeous maidens in their prime, they would still believe that they were never enough. And in their entire life, which ended at 30 years old, they didn't understand it. And human beings, hundreds of years later, here we are. And what has changed? Instead now, we don't talk to each other in person. We don't hang out in person. It's all the internet social media machine of gorgeous, jiggly, jumping chicks so that the millions of regular women look at these things and they go, God, I don't look like that. How can any guy ever like me? I don't look like that. Every young guy out there is going, well, wait a minute. Look how ripped and muscular and wealthy, and They have multiple colors on their Bugatti. How am I supposed to be a normal guy? And no one's going to want to be with me, and there's no opportunity. And it's the same wheel in the sky. It's the same dirty, murky, market noise shit. And in 2025, at the moment the world's supposed to end, the past will teach you a lot. You know why the past will teach you a lot? Because these people had clearer minds, clearer heads, and they had a lot to lose. Their lives were short. You didn't have a lot of time to make mistakes. Oh, it's okay, Sally. Just go back to school, little Timmy. You're only 60 years old. Go back to school. You can start over. You're only 79 years old. You're not even in your 90s yet. And these gorgeous people from the past had a third of the lifespan we have today. And even then, with that little bit of time they had, they still lived and learned, and they still made the same mistakes that we make now. Even with life expectancies that are longer, we all still think we're ugly, we're not good enough. We all look at ourselves in the mirror. We're all negative about everything in life, the economy, the markets, the tariff, Rudy. The tariff stole my ex-girlfriend. My stepsister hasn't been home since the tariffs have kicked in. And you know why? This is why. Art and beauty from the past is eternal. You can learn so much about yourself, your life, the risk. Like I tell people, Rudy, why don't you do this? Why does Rudy do this? Why is this? Why greed? Why is Rudy the grifter? Why? Because again, the internet can internet. But it's important to listen and learn. And this is a friendly reminder, hundreds of years ago, all the way to the world is ending for the 1,000th time. Wasn't the world supposed to end in 2012 with like the Mayan calendar? Are we already dead? Are we in a simulation? Or did the world end in Y2K when the toasters were going to come to life? Or did the world end in 2020 when we all had to just live underground like Fallout? Which time did the world end? 08? 01? 9/11? Y2K? 1987? The world has ended so many times, I don't even know. I am most likely a hologram inside your brain at this point. So, Rudy of Alpha Investments is here to remind you all, you can buy cards from me. We can have fun. You can be a patron. You can send me a message. You can buy a box of Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, Flesh and Blood, Sorcery, Weiss. You can, hey, whatever. But it's important to remember a few things about this life, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking in the wrong direction and you really just don't see things through the correct lens, your entire life will be flawed and you won't realize it until it's too late. This painting was based hundreds of years ago. And it's still one of my favorites. And I discovered this piece of art 15 years ago. Paid over $10,000 just to have this painting professionally done and everything, in a large scale and everything. And I hope at least one human being in the universe can stand back and say, you know what? That's some interesting symbolism, Rudy. You know what? Maybe the world isn't as bad as we think. Maybe the sun will come out tomorrow. You know? Maybe it is. See you guys tomorrow.